Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to review Darwinia. So this is a top-down view of the project. You can see that it's pretty high compared to some of the prices that people got in at before. So there is some price action vulnerabilities as well as some vulnerabilities with market acquisition in the future. Besides that, mostly a healthy project. As you can see, everything's mostly green. In fact, they actually have a very strong token economics component regarding the loyalty to the platform. So those who stay for the long-term vision of Darwinia, they will be rewarded in influence over the system. And I think that is an understated component in a lot of crypto projects, because you want people who think in long-term ways to have more influence. But you know what? I'm going to get into that as I get further down into the review. So basically, what do they have live now? They have a one-way Ethereum bridge to their mainnet or their system, allowing for that Ethereum to go over to the Darwinia net so that they can stake. So you can stake your tokens and participate in the network. They also have a game called Evolution Land, which is live, and the CrabNet for rapid development, a test net for rapid iterations of software. So all of those are good things to have live and will allow for the project to make rapid progress. So what problem will they solve in the future? So they're going for the cross-chain bridge on Polkadot, and I think there's plenty of room for more than one cross-chain bridge, as they could fulfill different market needs and give their human resources to different market needs as those needs arise. So as far as I'm aware, ChainX and Thalia network are the other two that I'm aware of that want to go for this space. So, and I have invested in every single bridge or that I'm aware of. I've invested in Darwinia, ChainX, and Thalia. And because I think that the Polkadot system is going to be a very big system. They're also going to go for non-fungible tokens, cross-chain actions, and so basically a key infrastructure player for the Polkadot ecosystem. So it's basically if accomplished, and if Polkadot does fulfill the vision of being the interoperable bridge to many of the different projects, then this could be an infrastructure component of that, which is a pretty large potentiality. So how much money pass through in order to justify $1 billion market cap? Well, they need roughly about 66 million annually for 50xer. So if you can see 66 million in revenues for this bridge, then you could see this thing going 50x sometime in the future. And that obviously depends on if Polkadot captures a lot of liquidity, captures a lot of the network movement of crypto in the future. So these are kind of numbers to keep in mind as for where the evaluation should roughly be at. So does the team have a track record for showing? Well, they're the iterating team. They're basically, a lot of the team is from a research cross-chain research team. They're Chinese. So they have that expertise in the technical side of blockchain research, and that's what you need for cutting-edge blockchain software, and that's exactly what Polkadot and this system is going for. So as far as what I expect for performance, I'm expecting it to be in the top 25 percentile. Obviously, this is a conjecture from my end. This is of the crypto space. So this is my overall assessment for where I think it might lie in the long run. And you can see that I'm talking about Ring and KTON because they're not quite equivalent, but they are roughly equivalent. KTON is extra voting weight, and we'll get further into what that means down the line. But I do expect price performance of both of those tokens in the future. Okay, so future increase in demand for the token, I do expect that to be the case. As far as token being used for services, it's used for gas, transaction fees, storage, computational fees, staking. The consensus for control of validators, governance, nominated proof of stake. So it's got a lot of similarities to Polkadot. Adapting, Polkadot did a lot of research in governance, and so they're just borrowing from Polkadot, and they do have some of their own components for that. But the token is absolutely used for services, for governance. So the value of the target market is large. Cross-chain token movement and trading, cross-chain DEX, non-fungible token, cross-chain action. So it's basically infrastructure component of Web3. And that's a massive market. Once again, I've said this in many crypto videos. Trillions of dollars is going to come to the crypto space. And, it's one of those projects that's aiming for infrastructure. And once again, as the saying goes, I like investing in infrastructure projects like Ethereum, Polkadot, this one. The reason I like investing in infrastructure is, consider this statement wisely, okay? In the gold rush, the people that made the most money were the people who sold the pickaxes, not the people who, were looking for gold. Sure, some people found gold, but it was the people who sold pickaxes. They were the infrastructure. They were the people that were there that made money no matter what. Those businesses made money, and that's the take you want on crypto. You want the most likely characters to capture the value transition that is going to happen. Because I am a long-term investor, and that's what I aim for, is the fundamentals. Okay, so the current niche market expected growth. I put yellow because I'm not personally into gaming. I do expect gaming to be a big component in the future for crypto, but I personally am not interested. I'm probably going to stay away from that. And so some people will have good investment strategies in the gaming. For me, I'm going for, more financial end of stuff or infrastructure end of stuff. But they do have evolution. It's a virtual game world. DAO players control the future of the game. And they also have the ETH bridge staking and, the testnet. So this could be green, but I just put yellow as neutral because I don't think it's really stuff that contributes too much to price. But obviously, the testnet will contribute to price because, that's where they're going to go through the iterations and the mass progress. And that is value that's going to be added to the system. And so that value added to the system will ultimately show up in price at some point. So, this probably should be green. Okay, so as far as future market excitement for price momentum, I do expect that to happen. Current awareness is low before the hype stage. It's relatively low. Obviously, I put Chinese theme as yellow for Twitter. The Polkadot, because they don't have a presence on Twitter that much. But for the project's amount of followers on Twitter, it's kind of mid-range, kind of low. You could say this is green, this is yellow, because it's on the lower end. So it's awareness, how aware it is out there. 11K people on Telegram, and 14K on YouTube exposure roughly for the average video. So it's relatively low. I put yellow because it's it's not. It's on the lower end. So once again, that's why ultimately this ended up as green. So that I put that the current awareness, it is pretty low. Before the first marketing campaign, they have different marketing campaigns that are live. The ambassador program, so that's this right here. Their marketing campaign is, they're going for technology, grants, bounty, education. Here's content creators who will be rewarded, meetup organizer, trust, translations, moderators, all of this. There's programs to get Darwinia tokens if you participate in their networking, in their marketing. So yeah, I would say, and November 13th, not a couple days ago, there was some elaboration on that. So it shows that marketing campaign is still going. And so you're going to see the fruits of that marketing campaign in the future. So yeah, it's before the first marketing campaign or before major marketing, in my opinion, because you're going to see the fruits of those programs further down the line. It's September and November 13th. And, as those programs develop, you're likely to see the fruits of the labor regarding those marketing events. So as far as major upcoming events, the mainnet launch will happen in Q3 or before the end of 2020. And, you got Q4 applications, when we'll be focusing on adding out a lot of those major applications of next. Before the end of the year. So, there's a lot that's going to be happening with this project before the end of the year, which is we got a couple months left or, not even. So, we're going to see a lot of this stuff happen. now or early next year. So, it looks like a good time to enter it from that perspective. So money needed to move price up to decrease. I do expect that to be the case. Tokens on sell side to decrease. I do expect that to be the case. Low inflation. Okay, so it has higher inflation, but because stakers are entitled to that inflation, I put that as low. And because also the token is in control of governance, I also put it as low because they're going to optimize that rate for the interest of the token holders. As long as the token holders have a say in what's going on, they're going to make all of those efforts in the appropriate places, in my opinion. And so also they're entitled to that inflation if you stake your tokens, so you're not getting the big negative effect of that inflation. You get to hold on. In other words, you get to hold on to the ratio of the market cap that you acquire, and that's why I put low inflation. The market cap is a micro cap. However, if it was fully diluted, it would not be. It would be quite large at 400 million according to CoinGecko, but that being said, because when you buy into it and you get entitled to that inflation, you are getting the same ratio of the market cap, roughly speaking. So I put it, yes, it is a micro cap. It is a small market cap, regardless of the dilution, because if you stake it, you will be entitled to the same ratio of the market cap that you get a hold of. As far as the token distribution, it's relatively low, but once again, you're entitled to the inflation. I can't believe I said that. All right, as it comes out. So as the tokens are released into supply, you are entitled to them as a staker and participating in the network as someone who chooses validators, nominator or validator, but we'll get into that as far as the governance component is concerned. So you can see all these metrics here. It's had a 2 month of a pretty strong bull run. It's only been out for a year and 3 months, which is actually a little older than some of the other Polkadot projects. But it had about a year of a bull run, 2 months of a very negative pullback, and then, it looks like it's been in a month of a kind of upward trend. And so it's up over 100x from its lows. It's down 76% from its all-time high, up 50% from its recent low, but it's still up 10x from its 6 months movement. So I put, up 10x, that's pretty high movement. And, who knows, the crypto market might see a pullback from where we are now. So I just put this as red because there's a lot of uncertainties with that. So it's been, it maybe this is yellow, but, just because it's had such bullish movements recently, I just put it as red. But once again, it is I'm going to actually change it right now. I'm going to put it as yellow because it is a microcap. So this bull action is not that bad because it's a microcap still. So, the threat of, market movements is not as impactful in my opinion because it's a microcap. Okay, so Evolution Land, I'm not into gaming that much. This is just me personally. I know a lot of other people are. If you are, you could invest based on that, your expertise with that. However, that's not one of my expertise is gaming. But they do, once again, they have the crab testnet. So once again, this is probably more on the green side. And yes, I did ultimately invest in this project because I think it's a healthy project. Okay, so Uniswap, they have low liquidity as far as I saw when I bought. So yes, it's in my opinion, when a project has low liquidity, that means that it is not being hyped. It is not. So that means it's relatively undiscovered still. This is not relevant anymore because it's on Uniswap, which anyone can have access to. If you're not on Uniswap, you don't know what you're doing in crypto. Okay, so impressive achievements. They don't have any inventions or billion-dollar startups, which is fine because most projects will not have that. As for the CEO, very technical, blockchain ability, developer pluses, research angle, a very well researched CEO. So we'll see how that plays out. So he knows his stuff from a technical standpoint. Being part of that Itering.io development research company. All right. For the governance. So you get voting weight is basically your stash of your staking hash of the network. Total ring staked 50 hash, total KTON stake 50 hash. It's 50-50 based on those totals, as you can see right here. these, let me make this smaller. KTON is the token that you get as a reward. I'll actually go into that in a minute, but half the network is controlled by KTON and half of it is controlled by Ring. And KTON is payment for being loyal to the network. So you validators receive token rewards along the blockchain. If they fail, tokens that were pledged to them get destroyed or slashed. And there's two players, the validators and the nominators. The nominators pick the validators through a token vote, which helps pick high-value infrastructure providers, and they're punished for picking bad validators. Early expiration dates are slashed first, so those who lock up their tokens the least amount of time are punished the worst by voting for bad validators. So that's really good. This is really good token model, very good token control, an excellent governance model. And one of the reasons I ultimately invested was because of how well designed the long-term rewards of this project are. So let's get into that. So they're adding voter weight for time lockup of tokens. So that creates that loyalty and that long-term vision, which makes people think in the long term, which is what you want for a project. You lock Ring for 33 to 36 months, / events hit early expiration dates first. For every 10,000 Ring you stake for 12 months, you get 1 KTON, and for 36 months is 3.64, so you get even more rewards for the longer lockup. And what this does is it gives this reward for in control over the network, and you can sell your KTON on the open market. So it's also a value that you're getting for locking up your tokens, for locking up your Ring. You get this, you get extra control over voting over the system, and so you're rewarded extra voter weight for time lockup of tokens. And they chose this unique approach because they think it will work better than what Polkadot is using. So what that means is those who think long-term strategy have added control, and those are powerful things to give to a project. It protects from custodial exchange damage. Those who bought in are in control of the network, and ultimately it leads to a healthier token economic system. A very underutilized component of blockchain is giving extra voting control to those who think long-term. That is an underplayed card in my opinion, and they actually take advantage of that, which I think is an excellent thing for a project to do. And that is, once again, why I invested. So developer compensation, the token is in control. Darwinia Network Foundation, main developer, Itering Tech, and etc. They have everything lined up for the developer ecosystem. The mission statement is basically Internet of Tokens connected, just a clear statement like saying what they're going for, that infrastructure role. Long-term vision and strategy, basically Polkadot infrastructure. And as you can see, high-value people, I think, will be in control of this project going forward because of the governance being healthy. So the evidence of ability to solve difficult problems. Basically, they're a research company. The co-founder, Danny Wang, is from BitShares. He's got a mathematics background, so that shows he's pretty smart. Alex Chen is the CEO, 5 years in the crypto development scene. He's the CEO of Itering, research, cross-chain development, technology, technical abilities. All of that stuff is good evidence, such as the BitShares experience, etc. All of that's good experience in the blockchain space, showing that they know what they're doing, especially from a technical infrastructure standpoint. For strategic partnerships, they are partnered with Reef and Bondly. And what that is liquidity and escrow. So they're, getting someone to provide liquidity for their DEX, and they're, that's excellent for market acquisition. And they're going for Bondly, which is escrow. Keep an eye out for Bondly. I'm going to take a look in that in the future as well. And that's going to be digital marketplaces, reoccurring payments. So basically, if you've seen my video on TrustSwap, the swap project, that's going for this kind of stuff, escrow, etc. But this one, Bondly, is like TrustSwap, but not with like the launching component, but they're going for similar stuff as TrustSwap. But in the Polkadot ecosystem, it looks to be the case. But I will know more about them in the future. And what that means is, that's going to be their partner with this project, and Reef being someone who gets liquidity. So these are market acquisition partnerships. So that's a good thing to have, obviously. Now, I did put for best option out of the competition, I put that, I think Chainx is ahead, but that I could be wrong about that. Obviously, this is just my take. But I do believe they do have a unique angle on bridge and functionality, so it might not be that Chainx is ahead, but rather that they're going to go for different components of the bridge component of Polkadot, and there's plenty of room for growth there. And and to be honest, in the blockchain space, there is a shortage of developers, so I think everybody's going to find a place to make their revenue streams, because there's just a shortage of talent, or there's a shortage of people in general, and the demand for crypto developers is just going through the roof. As Alan Turing once said, I see people doing work of this nature only accelerating, and I think that Alan Turing was right about computer programmers, but now we're talking about blockchain, and I think blockchain is going to be the analogous for what Alan Turing said, that developers are always going to be in demand going forward. And so I think there's plenty of room for both of these projects to make plenty of market acquisition. Darwinia is escrow liquidity. Chainx looks like Filecoin, asset management, and they're on the Chainx is on the Polkadot front page. Darwinia is not on the Polkadot front page, so that's another reason why I did put yellow. Just because maybe that front page position is relevant more or not as relevant as I'm thinking, but just Chainx looks closer to be the one that's going to be subsidized. But Darwinia, I wouldn't count them out at all, and obviously I invested. So it depends on the web integration. Okay, so like whether if they can get people and stuff. All of this depends on the external transfer catalyst inhibitor. Depends on web integration and future. We'll see this stuff at a future date when they're live and stuff like that. Okay. So future marketing plan, I already went over that, the Darwinia Ambassador Program. So yes, they have all of this laid out. So I do expect future awareness to increase. For difficulty internal transfer, once again, I'm going to wait to see until, depends on Chainx. I think Chainx might have their first mover, but they may, I think that they're going to capture market too as well. Internal transfer catalyst. So what's going to be the motivation for getting people to use their product? Well, if it's the cheapest option available, and if there's a lot of utility behind it, for instance, if they capture liquidity, they're going to have that captured. So more people using the project. I expect that to be the case. Project is easy to use. It's going to be for developers, so they're not going to have any problems with that. Project's going to have a lot of users probably in the future. All of this stuff I think is going to be used. Pool of tokens into liquidity pools. Basically just people using the project, creating pool into liquidity pools, which will cause the price to increase or the tokens per person to go down. Visa burn tokens, they have those slashing events, but I think that's going to be rare, so I just put that as neutral. Okay. Oops. So I do expect high value upgrades in the future. I expect value of services provided to increase. Yep. And that'll add here to, more people using the project. And once again, given the great governance structure, will large business models use the token? I expect that is likely that they will vote for validators, they will participate, and they will be part of it. So yes, I think large businesses will buy the token. Okay, so that's my overview. As far as summary, the pros, it's strong ties to the blockchain research and technical abilities. So those are definitely skills you want. Loyalty rewarded with governance with KTON. This is one of the major strengths in my opinion, and one of the reasons I invested. Polkadot seems out of the season right now. It's in the main crypto season. You're seeing like the Ethereum is getting a lot of the attention right now, at least when this video is made. So the Polkadot system is being somewhat ignored right now, which is good. So once again, a good time to enter a lot of Polkadot projects. Because the way I see this project is a 6-month to 2-year play. And so that's what I'm investing with my time frame is I'm expecting you to see, you want to get in 6 months. For me, my strategy is to get in 6 months to 2 years ahead of where I think the market will be, because that's when projects are the most ignored. And I think the Polkadot system is kind of what it ignored right now. But, Polkadot could easily capture, attention tomorrow. Who knows? Crypto's a wild place to be. So the cons, Chainx is kind of in the lead in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. I could be wrong about that. A Chinese team means it's harder for me to investigate, but I still found all the information I needed for the most part. Depends on the so one of the major cons with these projects is they're highly dependent on Polkadot's success and Polkadot capturing that major infrastructure component of interoperability. But I do think Polkadot is in an excellent place to do that, and so I'm fine with this. These are basically leverage plays on Polkadot, gaming is not my personal forte, and that's just me personally. I know some people that will make a lot of money from that in the future. Okay, so that's my take on this project. Good luck investing.